Hey everybody, today we're going to use ChatGPT to create a mortgage amortization schedule. So if you're one of my children, I would require that you make a mortgage amortization schedule before you enter into a mortgage loan, just to see how much interest you're paying. I think it's great for students to see, accounting, finance, other students to see just how you make a bond amortization schedule, and it kind of all starts from here. So if I'm in ChatGPT and I'm just going to go and say, hey, let's start with a new chat, and then a new chat kind of clears the register, so I'm ready to go. And so let's go ahead and just ask ChatGPT to work with us, and we'll say something like, I would like to make a mortgage amortization schedule. This kind of gets us all on the same team. And so I'm going to ask, what do you need? Okay, and so let's go ahead and enter that, and we'll see what it needs here. Okay, so now it's giving us the information. It needs the loan amount. It needs to know how much you are borrowing. It needs to know the annual interest rate, and when we give it to it, we should give it an annual interest rate. How long is the loan term for? How many years will it go? And how often we want to make a payment. Usually for a mortgage, we're going to make monthly payments, but certainly for like bonds, it might be twice a year, or perhaps annual payments, and a start date if we want that to be in the mortgage amortization schedule. So I'm going to work with it and give it what it needs. It wanted to know these various items. So we're going to create a mortgage amortization assuming a principal balance. So the loan amount is $200,000, a 6% annual interest rate over 360 months. So there I've provided everything it asked me, and it's monthly. Here's my annual interest rate, here's my principal balance. And so I'm going to go ahead and enter that and ask it to create that schedule. Now when it creates a schedule, it's going to give us, it's going to display on the screen what it looks like, at least the first few payments, and then we're going to ask it to save it out. And so we're going to go ahead and ask it to put this amortization schedule somewhere. Now, this amortization schedule will just be a printout. It won't be all the calculations you need. What happens if you want to make an extra payment or something? What are you going to do? How is that going to be in there? And so, though it provides these details, which are very useful, and you can just go ahead and download that directly, and let's see what the download looks like. So it looks like it's going to a CSV file, a comma space delimited file, or I can go ahead and say, let's print it out to Excel once I enter this instruction. But I can see the monthly payment of $1199.10. After that, I pay down some of the principal, I pay down the interest, and I can kind of see what that looks like. Now this is kind of in the way here, so let's just make this a little bit smaller, but you can see how much goes toward principal and how much goes toward interest. So let's go ahead and print that out to Excel, and I also like it to have the name on it of what we're doing. Now increasingly I'm thinking we ought to include some of the details in that. It doesn't know what interest rate we gave it. It doesn't know the loan amount, except you can kind of see that as we went, but you can kind of see what that looks like. So it might have a printout, and we can go ahead and open that printout real quick and see what the printout looks like. And you can see here's the detail there, but it is not useful as far as what if I want to make an extra payment, or I can't make a payment a certain month. How would that affect it? Usually I go down to the bottom, I see 360 months, I see it goes to 0, so I know it computed it correctly, and this ends up being a really strong exercise. But the point of the assignment really is to calculate how much interest. That's what I want to teach my children or my students, and I want to know how much total interest is paid over the life of the loan. Simply, how much is there? And so I'm going to look at this and just see how much interest was paid. And so if I had a 30-year, 360-month loan, 6% interest, a principal balance of $200,000, then the interest paid would be $231,676. So add on to that the principal, and you'd be paying over $431,000, so quite a bit. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to do a sensitivity analysis. So the base case is the same. Well, now the base case is going to change. Instead of 360, we're going to put it right in the middle at 180. And then I want to vary two things. I want to vary the interest rate, and I want to vary the time that it's outstanding, and I want to see how much the interest amount changes. So I'm going to go ahead and run that and ask it to provide that. Now its default is going to be a table that we can see kind of all these possible iterations. So we're varying either the interest amount paid, interest rate paid, or the length of the loan, and we're going to see what that looks like in terms of a table. So now we can see what the sensitivity analysis looks like. So let's go down just a little bit, and you can kind of see it varies. Starts at 4% and then goes 60, 120, 180, and then goes to 5%, 60, 20, 180, and does kind of all the possible iterations. So I mean, there's 30 possible iterations, and it says, hey, what can we do? How would you like to see this? And what I'd actually like to do is show the results as a heat map. And that allows me to kind of see, using a visualization, what it might look like. So here's our heat map, and we can see what that looks like. You can kind of see how much interest is being paid. So here's the various interest rates, and here's the various length of the loan, and you can see how that might differ. Now the yellow is less, the blue is more, so low interest rate, not many payments. Golly, it'd be nice if I could pay a $200,000 loan off in 60 months. That's 5 years, right? 4%, that's only $20,000. But if you go the other direction and it's an 8% interest rate for 360 months, you're going to be paying $328. So quite a bit of money there that might be included. So I wanted to kind of also show the base case that we were talking about. We started at 6% and 360 months, so you can see that 231,676. So you can see that there. Now when you're going to download, you can go ahead and just click download chart, but I don't really like how it says output there because I've got now here 8 outputs that I haven't labeled yet. And so I'm going to go ahead and get more specific and tell it exactly how to save it. And so here I'm going to say, hey, save it to this particular location and save it as a .png file. And so it's going to be able to save that for us. The last thing I wanted to do is to display prompts. And I usually do this because, I might have this visualization but not know all the inputs. I might not do the whole visualization and say, look at that, but it doesn't tell me how much the loan was. I mean, it's a $200,000 loan, but where is that in the visualization? So I've got to provide all the details, and if I save the prompts, then I can go back and recreate this. So now it says the heat map's been saved, and it's going to be in a particular location, and I can click to download. And so I'm ready to do that. And so I'll just click this, and it will just put it there, and I can go open that and see that. Finally, I'd like it to display the prompts that I gave it. So we can either ask it to output it to a Word file, or we can just see it on the screen. Now, usually I just put it out as a Word file so that I can put that alongside the visualization so I can kind of see exactly what I did. So you can kind of see what that might look like. So you can see the various prompts we gave, and this is kind of exactly the wording that we provided it. So we said I want to make a mortgage amortization schedule. It kind of gives the details. We gave it the details. Then we output that amortization schedule as an Excel file, and we ask what is the total interest paid over the life, 360 months. Then we did a sensitivity analysis, varying various parameters, various assumptions we might make. And then finally, could you show these as a result, heat map? And we saw that, and then finally save the heat map. So that completes this lab.